Welcome to today's Cognigy webinar on Agentic AI. This is truly one of the most amazing product launches we ever did. We will show you the next generation of AI agents, what they do, how exactly they work, and how you can start managing your own AI workforce with Cognigy. My name is Sebastian Glock, and with me is Thijs Waanders. If you have any questions to us or the Cognigy team, please use the chat at any time. And with that, let's go. So no doubt we live in the age of AI. Most of us use AI products every day, and all major software companies, I'm sure you haven't missed that, are pivoting to an AI approach. Bill Gates calls AI agents the biggest revolution in computing since the graphical user interface, and we couldn't agree more. This chart shows how that revolution started about 10 years ago. That's when the first NLP frameworks came to market. They allowed us, for the very first time, to go beyond just keyword-based interactions and understand intent. Then these frameworks evolved into conversational AI platforms that added channels, backend connectors, and in some cases, a low-code UI that helped build sophisticated chat and voice bot. Cognigy has become a leading vendor in this segment, recognized by all major analyst firms, and more importantly, also by our amazing customer base, many of them represented today here in the webinar. And then came generative AI, with ChatGPT sending shockwaves throughout the world back in 2022. And that's because with LLMs, natural language interfaces transformed from clever but predefined conversational flows into truly intelligent and versatile companions, including lifelike voices, which also haven't been possible before. And now we have arrived at the next milestone, AI agents. And AI agents are set to disrupt the way people interact with computers. Why is that? That's because natural language is the most intuitive UI of them all. This is shown by the incredible adoption rate of ChatGPT and other AI interfaces. Where software programs come with UIs that need to be learned, AI agents simply use language, any language for that matter. And this means that everyone can use them, potentially for any purpose, and that leads to an adoption and growth unlike anything witnessed before. And very soon, agentic behavior and the comfort of truly intelligent AI-powered applications will be expected by consumers whenever they interact with companies. They will become the new gold standard. And we're here today to talk about how this revolution becomes real. Cognigy's brand new agentic AI capabilities. At the heart are LLM-powered agents that are goal-oriented with access to tools and the capability to execute actions. The outcome of that is a better user experience than ever before, leading to higher success rate of customer self-service. So for a start, I want to show you how that looks and sounds like. So I'll now play a conversation between Sam, our AI agent, and a customer who's requesting a travel insurance. Maybe the customer looks familiar. Let's watch.
Hi, Phil. This is Sam, your insurance support AI agent. I hear you would like to purchase travel insurance. Could you please let me know where you will be traveling?
Yeah, that'd be for a trip to the US next week.
Sure, let me check that for you. Before I send you the offer, I just need to verify your identity. Can you please read the code that I've just sent to you via SMS?
Sure, that's 23056.
Great, thanks. I verified you. You should now receive a link where you can see your personalized offer. Please feel free to take a look at it while I stay on the line. Perfect. The medium package is a popular choice. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Okay, so what is it that made this experience so impressive, and why is it only possible with AI agents? Let's take a closer look. First and foremost, Sam used a form of reasoning to understand and process the request. He can help customers achieve a goal by decomposing the input, contextualizing it, and finding the shortest path to resolution, step by step. We call this progressive reasoning. And while it's of course debatable whether this is real reasoning or just large-scale statistics, it leads to impressive results. Everyone who had a chance to test our agentic AI so far was simply stunned by the AI agent's abilities to analyze and comprehend data and language input and act accordingly. Aside from the reasoning, Sam also ensured he received all information he needed and that he followed all necessary procedures. This call was rather neutral, but Sam would have also picked up any emotions and responded in a way that conveys empathy if needed. Furthermore, he has a concept of memory. He remembered the name from previous interactions, which is a form of long-term memory, but he also used his short-term memory to make the conversation frictionless. We'll hear more about that later. He could even refer to input from this conversation in the next call. So functionality like that is optional, but it allows for a much better customer experience. And lastly, as an AI agent, Sam has the ability to perform actions or use tools. Authentication via SMS was such an action. Sharing the office via a web application was another one. Later, we'll speak about knowledge retrieval, handover, and also API calls. Sam can decide which action is needed at a particular point and can also adapt flexibly during the conversation. Now let's dive a bit deeper into what AI agents actually are. So AI agents are intelligent digital systems designed to handle interactions by making decisions and completing tasks on their own. So on a high level, AI agents are very similar to human agents in that they listen, they reason, they act, and they also respond on voice and chat channels. But let's go a lot deeper, because under the hood, AI agents are based on a much more complex layering. At the bottom are foundation models. Cognigy users have the freedom to choose between Azure OpenAI, OpenAI directly, and Anthropic. And very soon, we will also roll out support for Google Gemini and other models. On top of the models sits a proprietary Cognigy layer that is based on years of experience with CX interactions. We ensure that whatever model is used, AI agents deliver the best performance and always stay within their defined scope. Next is specific knowledge and skills. Every AI agent is different, and we make it very easy to onboard and upskill an AI agents so that they can give their best performance. Now, progressive reasoning is a key component. It means that on every step of the way, the AI agent decides what to say, what to ask, what action to take, or what tool to use. It can decompose complex tasks and autonomously work towards a goal. In a nutshell, it figures out the shortest path to resolution depending on the context. And with that, every interaction becomes unique. And finally, on top, we've added another layer that keeps the autonomous AI in check, so a safety layer. We ensure that the AI agent stays within guardrails and is safe, for example, from jailbreak attacks. This layer can be enhanced with tools such as Lakera or Azure AI Content Safety, but this is just an option and by no means required. So we at Cognigy spent the last 2 years developing this platform, and we have packed all of this in one intuitive UI that lets you design and manage AI agents at scale. And that is Cognigy AI in its upcoming release. So before we look behind the scenes, let me highlight one important aspect. Cognigy AI agents are built to run in our leading enterprise conversational AI platform. This means that unlike all other AI agent frameworks out there, Cognigy-powered AI agents can already speak over 100 languages. They can communicate on more than 20 channels, including CCaaS systems out of the box, and they can tap into more than 100 system integrations fully pre-integrated. Also, they are compatible with your current Cognigy AI implementation if you're already a customer. And in a typical Cognigy fashion, what we're about to show you today is not a slideshow, but real product. And some of you have been testing it already. And with that, let me hand it over to Thijs, who will take you on a comprehensive tour through our new offering. Thijs, here we go.
Thanks, Sebastian. What an intro. I'm super excited to be here today to show you the platform in action. Let's have a look at onboarding an AI agent. We have a number of options to choose from. The first is training an AI agent from scratch. We provide full flexibility in AI agent creation, including a unique persona with avatar, a biography, tone of voice, knowledge, and much more. You can see that I went ahead and created an AI agent that resembles myself. You have full flexibility to adjust any parameter you like. You can even add voices using voice cloning in, for example, 11 Labs to really make it sound like your own AI agent. We can, however, also decide to hire an AI agent from our AI agent marketplace. We are working with a select group of partners to extend our AI agent marketplace to cover specific domains and industries. This lets you hire pre-trained AI agents and it offers an incredibly fast time to market. Lastly, we can also upskill an AI agent with a specific skill set and the actions associated with those skills, like the ability to handle baggage, or maybe another airline topic where the AI agent has the ability to rebook a flight. Now, let's look in the platform itself and start by training an AI agent from scratch. I'm now logged on to the Cognigy platform. You can see that I have a list of AI agents here. I have Jamie, I have James and Mitchell, I have Nina, and I even have a copy of myself as an AI agent working for Cognigy Logistics. We have the ability to hire additional AI agents. You can see that we have a bunch of pre-trained AI agents ready to be hired and ready to go. These are accelerators, if you will. What it means is that you can hire one and they work out of the box. They're complete AI agents, but they're meant for you to build upon. Right? So you can create your own processes and add them to your AI agent. What I'll do is I'll create one from scratch to show you how that works. So let's click on New AI Agent. The first thing that we're asked to do is to provide a name. Let's call her Lisa. I'll go with the standard avatar, but I do have the ability to upload a custom avatar if I like. I'll add a description. Lisa works for Cognigy Airlines and can help with customer questions about bookings, baggage, and other topics. She's very helpful and engaging. Now, this is a personality or a biography almost, if you will, right? So we can make this a lot more extensive. I'll just leave it as is for now and click on next. Next up are the speaking styles. I can have Lisa speak in a very concise way. I can have her be a little bit more comprehensive if I like. I like to leave this in the middle just for the time being. And in much the same way we have the ability to make her speak a little bit more informal versus very formal, maybe in the case of a banking scenario, for example, in the financial services industry, where we want to be a little bit more formal. Next up are knowledge and instructions. Let's start with instructions. I have the ability to add custom instructions that always apply to Lisa as an AI agent. One of the typical instructions would be, do not talk about the competition. This is just something that we typically don't want our AI agent to do. Another example could be, do not discuss pricing. Right? Another thing, pricing is dynamic. Yes, we could train the AI agent to take dynamic pricing into account, but we typically don't really want to go there as a first step. And this is an instruction you can very easily add with these special instructions. Now, the other thing we want to do is we want to add knowledge. This is Cognigy Knowledge AI, fully featured, fully integrated. I went ahead and already created a basic airline FAQ. So I'll point her to that, and we'll talk a lot more about knowledge in just a bit. And then next up, and finally, we have the data privacy and security tab. Data privacy is incredibly important, right? We have enterprises that have very strict requirements, but we also want to provide engaging conversations. So we came with a preset of options for you to use with your AI agents. You can leave customer data out altogether. That's one of the first options. But you can also use selected profile fields from their contact profile so that the AI agent has access to some information, but not to everything, not the full profile. So a first name could be very useful where we don't want to expose the full profile, but still have an engaging, personalized conversation. We can also use the complete profile. A complete profile means that the Cognigy AI agent has access to the full contact profile and all the customer data that was stored on the platform. Or we can have the AI agent use profile memories. Profile memories, or memories in general, are things that we want the AI agent to remember about the conversation that are not specific customer data as such. We'll talk a lot more about those concepts later on in the webinar. I just wanted to highlight them for now. And then last but not least, we have our security settings. These are incredibly important, especially while working with generative AI and LLMs. We came up with safety instructions out of the box, and you can enable all of them, or you can disable some of them and have a select number of instructions activated. These are filtering harmful content, measuring ungrounded content, copyright infringement potentially, and of course preventing jailbreak and prompt manipulation. Now, you can extend this even with third-party providers like Azure Content Safety or Lakera, if you like. So let's now go ahead and create and have a chat with our first AI agent. So let's use our interaction panel to interact. And you see that she reacts, staying in her role as a representative of Cognigy Airlines. How are you? We can of course engage in small talk, and you see that she has a very engaging personality. Thanks for asking. She will stick to her job in the sense that she's here to support us with Cognigy Airlines. Let's ask her a very specific question. So we ask if we can bring a baby stroller on board, right? And she says, yes, you can bring a baby stroller, right? You can check them in at the gate. Smaller collapsible strollers may be allowed as carry-on, right? And she asks for follow-up questions to help answer the question in, a more specific way, which of course is exactly what we want, right? Because we instructed her to be engaging and very, very helpful. She can also speak different languages. Do you also speak German? Sprichst auch Deutsch? And she does, right? And she addresses us in a more formal way, since that's the standard thing to do in German. I can ask her to be a little bit more informal. You can gladly say you in the more informal way. And she has no problem adapting to that request, right? So she has a very strong basic concept of engaging in conversation, being polite, being proactive, and she can even do so using very specific nuances per language. In this case, we can ask her to switch to a more informal way of speaking German, which is something that we might be a little bit more comfortable with. Great. So we now created our first AI agent in Cognigy. And it's remarkable how easy it was to set up. We have an AI agent that can do cognitive reasoning. She has foundational knowledge, and she has a couple of base skills, like small talk, speaking different languages, and more. Now it's time to talk about channels. Cognigy AI agents are not limited to the debugging interface. We have fully fledged contact center integrations that are available out of the box. Then again, we also have messaging channels. You can hook up anything from Telegram to WhatsApp or a custom web chat. Let's start by adding and giving the AI agent a voice. All right, so let's switch back and add a session configuration that allows us to tap into the voice gateway and give Lisa an actual voice. We have a whole set of vendors to pick from. You can pick Microsoft, AWS, and Google. You can also pick DeepGram and Nuance. In this case, I want to go for 11 Labs, give her a so-called Turbo V 2.5 voice for optimal latency. I'll pick English as the standard language here, and instead of picking one of the predefined voices, I will add a custom voice. I will pick DeepGram for the STT, as they're extremely fast. I'll pick English as a language for now. We can switch this later, and I'll pick one of their optimized models as a starting point. I will change the endpointing to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of latency, and I will leave all other settings like hints, barge in, user input timeout, and all of that other stuff as is. Let's add our phone number so that we can actually try out what Lisa sounds like.
Hi, and welcome to Cognigy Airlines. I'm Lisa. How can I assist you today?
Hey Lisa, I was wondering, can we take our baby stroller aboard the plane?
Yes, you can bring a baby stroller aboard the plane with Cognigy Airlines. Typically, you can check the stroller at the gate, and it will be returned to you upon arrival. Some smaller, collapsible strollers might also be allowed as carry-on, depending on the space available and the airline's policies. I recommend checking with the airline's specific guidelines for any size or weight restrictions. If you need more detailed information or assistance, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, so I also heard that we can bring some suitcases on board. How many suitcases can we take per person?
Typically, Cognigy Airlines allows passengers to bring one carry-on bag and one personal item, such as a purse or laptop bag, per person. However, the specific allowance can vary depending on your ticket class and the route you are flying. It's important to check the dimensions and weight limits for the carry-on baggage to ensure compliance with airline policies. If you are flying internationally or have a specific ticket class, there might be additional allowances or restrictions. Please let me know if you need more detailed information about your specific flight.
No, that's okay. I think I know enough. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been very helpful.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you have any more questions or need assistance in the future, feel free to reach out. Have a great day and a pleasant journey with Cognigy Airlines.
All right, thank you. You too. Wow, what an experience. This was really, really fast, and it was a very fluent conversation. Now, let's also have a look at digital channels. Cognigy comes pre-equipped with many endpoint types. We just use the voice gateway. We can also set up a web chat, or we can pick any of the other endpoints that come out of the box with the platform. Let's pick a web chat and point it to Lisa, the AI agent. I'll open a demo web chat and I will initialize it with a very specific customer ID. This allows me to synchronize this session with our debugging interface. Let me now make the web chat a little bit smaller so we can put it side by side, and this should allow us to see exactly what's going on. So I'll switch back to the flow. I'll update my live follow. I don't want to follow my phone number. I just want to follow the particular session that's going on in the web chat here. I'll start a conversation and I'll say hi. You see that the message comes in and Lisa responds on chat in our web chat interface to the left. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can read it a little bit better. How are you doing today? Right? And thank you for asking. I'm here and ready to assist you with any questions and concerns you might have. How can I help you today? Now, this is great, right? And the web chat looks really sleek, but there might be something specific that we want to do with a channel like web chat, right? So what we can do is we can add rich media to a specific channel output, right? So one of the things that we can do is add a say node here, which gives us full access to all of the rich media types that we have available in Cognigy out of the box, right? So maybe what we want to do is say, pick a topic below, and then we can add so-called quick replies, right? So we could say something like, rebook a flight. I want to rebook a flight. And let's add another option here that says baggage allowance. I have a question about my baggage. Now, this of course is it's a great way to interact with Lisa. And what I can do in Cognigy is I can combine this with logic constructs. I can say, well, on the very first time, show this widget, and then afterwards, just continue the conversation as is, right? So let's switch back to our web chat and refresh the session. We should still have our live follow active. So I'll start a conversation, say hi, right? And what you now see is that we have very nice rich media output directly integrated with our advanced AI agent. If I click on rebooking a flight, she says, I can help you with that, right? She does not show the rich media again because we've already shown it. And she now asks me for a booking number and further information. Let's close the web chat again. And I just want to highlight, right? Next to the quick replies, we have the ability to add galleries and do all of the stuff that you could do before in Cognigy, including channel-specific overrides for channels like, for example, WhatsApp, right? Where we can, have her share a location, a video, audio, all of that is still available with AI agents. And that's really, really nice. Let's go a little bit deeper with some of the other concepts that really make AI agents and Cognigy stand out. Let's start with knowledge. We already saw all the way at the beginning that I equipped Lisa with an FAQ, an airline FAQ, and we've used this throughout the demo so far to let her answer questions about baggage allowance in particular. Can I bring a baby stroller on board? Now, this is a complete knowledge AI stack that Lisa has at her disposal, right? So we have the full reg pipeline, knowledge ingestion, files, websites, anything can be ingested, but you can also bring your own retrieval augmented generation pipeline or your own knowledge store if you like. So the knowledge AI pipeline is actually very sophisticated. It allows you to ingest all sorts of data, including custom APIs, websites, files like PDF and PowerPoint, and of course other systems. Now, what you can do is upload that information and we'll ingest it and chunk it. We store them in a vector database. So that's the so-called vector store. And this is essentially asking an LLM to interpret the source document or source in general using an LLM and then storing that information, so the text, in so-called vector representations. We then have a trust layer on top, right? This is, again, for checking accuracy. Lisa then has the ability as an AI agent to search through the vector database and come up with very relevant matching sets of information that she can then base her answer on. But there's more. We also have the concept of memory, and I briefly touched upon it. So let's have a closer look at what it actually means and then try it out using Lisa, the AI agent. So we have the concept of short-term and long-term memory. Let's start with short-term memory. Short-term memory is all about enriching conversations with facts that are relevant to that specific conversation, and in some cases they pop up dynamically. So I gave the example already of a user mentioning that they're headed for Disneyland, right? We can then store that memory visiting Disney, and what we can do is we can use it in the same conversation to then retrieve and use it in a personalized goodbye, right? So it's a very good example of short-term memory. But we also have the concept of long-term memory. So let's have a look at that. While creating our AI agent, we learned about the customer's contact profile, right? And providing the AI agent access to that. So they can use the contact profile data by default if we want. We can then extend that with custom memory, so things that we want to remember. And we have the ability to provide the full contact profile versus just providing a single, one or more specific fields from the contact profile. Let's have a look at a specific scenario. So imagine, Michael's flight is now open for check-in, right? Should help you proceed. Yes, I would actually like a vegetarian meal, please. Okay, I've noted this down as a preference for future flights. Add memory, meal preference, vegetarian. So let's have a look at how this works in action. The first thing I'll do is I'll take Lisa here and I'll add a so-called action. We will have a closer look at actions in just a little bit, but for now I wanted to deliberately trigger something that I can react to. So let's say that we have the remember first name action, like so. And then what we tell her is that this action is triggered whenever a user mentions their first name. That's all we essentially need to do. We should give her a parameter, which is the actual first name, because that way we can get it back from the system. And we simply say the user's first name, like so. Now, the next thing is adding a update contact profile node. So we have direct access to the contact profile, and I can literally tell it that the first name should be the first name that was just provided by the user. So let's try this out. Hi there, this is Thijs. And you see that this action was triggered because I introduced myself, my name was provided. If we now look under the contact profile, we can see that my name is listed as Thijs. So what we now need to do is go back to Lisa and say, memory handling, inject the full contact profile to Lisa as an AI agent. And then we can interact with her in a more personalized way. So let's try it out. We say hi, and she says, hello Thijs, how can I assist you with your Cognigy airline queries today? This, of course, is the personalization that we're after. It's extremely simple to set up in the platform. Now, let's get back to our overview one more time. We have the channels in the form of contact centers and messaging. We have advanced knowledge ingestion and usage. We have advanced memory concepts that we just had a look at. And we also learned about actions. This is where the real magic happens. This is where your AI agents become useful by actually solving problems for your customers using transactions, right? So we have a whole set of actions that you can use, and the key thing is that they integrate with a very large number of systems out of the box. We provide more than 100 system integrations out of the box with enterprise systems like Salesforce, Dynamics. We of course can do the ERPs like SAP, but you also have the ability to trigger auto automations, including offline agents to, maybe process an invoice asynchronously. Now, actions do not stand in isolation. Actions are actually bundled under a job. Let's have a quick look. So we started off this project by creating an AI agent that we called Lisa. And Lisa has a personality, knowledge, base skills, everything attached. And she can have a specific job at certain points in the flow. And this could be anything from, baggage agent, maybe someone that can deal with billing or someone that can help with rebookings. In this case, we have Elisa. Elisa is an actual AI agent for one of our customers, Lufthansa. And Lufthansa prefers to have one face to the customer in the sense that you're always talking to Elisa, even though there's maybe different flows and constructs happening in the background. Now, this is something that you might like to do as well. And by detaching the actual AI agent personas from the jobs at hand, you have the flexibility to do so. You can, however, also say, let's create a separate job with a separate AI agent. And in that case, the user would experience going from one AI agent to another, just like you might do with humans. Is that better? That depends on your preference, really. It's something that can work really well in certain use cases. The key takeaway here is that we provide you with the ability to use that if you want to do so. And this is reflected in the platform. So let's open Lisa and zoom in on her actual job at hand. You can see here that we have a job, customer support specialist. This is her standard job, if you will. It has a description. It has a number of instructions and context. We already talked about the memory handling that we have here. She also has the ability to have a custom knowledge base that only pertains to Lisa in this job. And we have many more advanced settings like output streaming, the LLM that we want to use. We can actually use a different LLM for every single job, even though we have the same persona as an AI agent here on top. And we could say, let's take this job and let's assign it to Thijs as another AI agent, in which case the persona and all of its character traits change, but all of the specific job tool sets and skills and actions stay in place. This, of course, is the very flexible, powerful concept that, and we'll look at that later on, allows you to create true agentic behavior. So let's go back to the actions. Every AI agent persona can have one or multiple jobs, and each job comes with a set of actions. These are things that we can assign to a job, see them as tools, right? Could be very concrete, like adding additional luggage, checking an allowance, maybe sending an invoice or processing a refund. But it could also include handing over to a human agent or handing over to another AI agent. So let's have a look at how to create an action in the platform. I'll go ahead and create a new action, and this is for checking in. So we call it check-in as a tool action. This tool action lets a user check in. And of course, it needs a number of parameters. The first thing, of course, is the booking code that the user has for their flight. So the user's flight booking code will be the first parameter for us to collect. Then we add another parameter, and this is their last name. You typically want to include, or you have to provide a last name, right? The user's last name, and then we need to set the destination. We want to know their destination, the user's destination, like so. Okay, please note that we have the ability to provide predefined options, right? So we could actually provide valid destinations like New York or even airline codes like LAX if we wanted to. So we have the ability to work with so-called EDUMs. So I saved this node, and now we have a fully fledged check-in tool action. Let's try it out. The way this works is the AI agent will hold a conversation. So she remembers my name and she says, how can I help you with your booking or other questions? So I say, how are you doing? Right, so I can engage in small talk. And this all runs through the AI agent node, right? And there is no specific action triggered. So there's the default output that is essentially the conversation that I'm having. In this case, I now say, I actually need to check in for my flight to Boston. And then she recognizes that there's a check-in process, an action that needs to be triggered, but she also realizes that she has a couple of parameters to collect. I already provided the destination, in this case, Boston, but she still needs my booking code. Is that the one starting with BA22? So we want her to answer questions. Yes, the booking code typically starts with a combination of letters and numbers. That should be the correct one. Sure, that is BA220013. And then she remembers that, says, okay, great, thank you so much. And now I just need your last name so that I can check you in for the flight to Boston. My last name is Wanders. Now she collected all the information, and what happens is you see that this green line now goes to the check-in action, because at this point, the action has been triggered successfully. The AI agent collected all of the relevant information. So we have the booking code, we have the last name, and we have the destination. And let's try out something else as well. So I'll create a token from the destination, and I'll call it destination. This allows me to take dynamic data, so a piece of script, if you will, and then store it under a visual token. And then I'll do the same thing with last name. So I'll say last name here. And then I'll do the same thing with booking code. Say booking code, like so. What I can now do is I can, of course, repeat the information because I have access to it, but I can also do something transactionally, like, for example, sending an email notification. Right? So in this case, I can actually do something like your flight to destination, because this is an actual parameter that we now collected and can therefore use in the email context, right? So we can say, dear Mr. There we go, last name, and you get the idea, right? We hereby confirm here you are checked in for your flight to destination. So we have an LLM collect dynamic information, which we can then use to send to another system and actually store or communicate data. And of course, I need to provide an email address, so let's actually use the contact profile value for that and just take whatever we have under email, and then we should be good to go. Now, what I can also do, however, is store a piece of this information as an explicit memory. So let's go ahead and do that as well, maybe before sending the email. And we have a special node for that called add memory. And what we can do here is add a free-form memory. So we could say something like, the user is regularly flying to destination. Now this becomes a dynamic memory that the AI agent can remember for a longer time. And just like we can do with the first name, she can then use this in the conversation itself, because we can inject the memory as part of a contact profile. And that's where you have behavior where Lisa might, for example, say, hey, Thijs, how was your flight to Boston last week? Now, there's one more aspect that we really haven't had a look at yet, and that is the agentic in our Agentic AI agents. And what it actually refers to is that AI agents can hand over to other AI agents, right? So in this example, We could have Anna being a routing agent handing over to James, who's a booking agent, right? Or Henry, who's a billing agent. But Anna can also hand over to a human, and so can James. Right? This behavior is what really puts the agentic in agentic AI agents. So let me show you how we can use our tool actions to actually hand the conversation over to an AI agent, a different one altogether, so that they can focus at the task at hand. So let's have a look at what that looks like in action. We have the same old Lisa that we created before, right? And instead of providing Lisa with direct actions, we instead provided her with overall actions in terms of understanding when a request is about bookings versus billing related questions. So we essentially told her, if a user has a question about their flight booking, right, then call the bookings tool action. And if a user has a question about a billing related topics like an invoice copy, then call the tool action billing. She then has tools that delegate directly to a dedicated AI agent for these two different tasks. We have James, the booking specialist, right, whose job it is to help with booking related questions. He has his own set of actions, flight status and rebook flight. And when a user requests a flight status, he'll actually look up the flight status on Google and provide that information. And in a similar way, Mitchell is specialized in supporting with billing related topics, right? And he will help the user with anything related to billing, like an open invoice. So let's try this out in action and see how a truly agentic system works. So we get greeted by Lisa. Lisa's here to help us with any overall question. So let's start with the flight booking and say, hey, so yeah, I am wondering if my flight is still on time. So Lisa directly delegates to James from bookings. He introduces himself, right? He says, I'd be happy to help you with that. Could you please provide me with your flight code? Sure, that is AB4422. So he looks up the flight information using an API call, and he says, okay, it's on time and expected to depart tomorrow at 2 p.m. from Tampa Airport. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask. We do have another question. Yeah, so I also need an invoice copy for tax purposes. So let's see what happens. The conversation gets directed to Michael or Mitchell from billing, right? And Mitchell is, of course, happy to assist with that. And he needs specific information for him to call, for him to be able to call the action invoice copy, right? So he needs my email address and my last name. So that is, and my last name is Wonders. So he takes that information and then actually uses the ability to send email, and he then has successfully sent an email to the email address. And he also asked me if there's anything else he can help with. So I say, no, that's been great. Thank you so much for your support. And this then gets handed back to Lisa automatically. And Lisa says, great, very welcome. If you have any other questions, please reach out and have a great day and a pleasant flight, because she's aware of the conversation. As a matter of fact, all three AI agents have access to the same conversational transcript. And that's what makes this work so well. Now, you see that I actually used a couple of concepts here. I do an actual flight status lookup, right? And then I say, resolve tool action, right? And what this means is that I let all of the AI agents know in a formal way what the outcome of this particular tool action was, right? I do the same here. And this helps the system understand which action has been successfully processed, right? And this is why the system works so well. Now, this is one group that has access to a shared content, and they can dynamically switch and take over the conversation as they see fit. I could, however, also be a little bit more explicit by saying at this point, where the topic is bookings, send the conversation to another AI agent explicitly, right? And in that case, what I can do is I can simply select a different flow where the AI agent is active with a specific AI agent. And then again, I have very advanced behavior options that I can enable. Why would you want to do this? Because maybe it's easier to hand over to a different flow altogether, so that this main flow does not get so cluttered with all the AI agents in one view. So you have both options, and let's not forget, every AI agent has access to, or has its own job description and has access to its own grounding knowledge as well, right? So we could provide all of them with their own contextual knowledge base so that they can answer questions in a very specific and detailed way.
Thank you, Thijs, for this amazing demo and the extensive tour through the platform. I'd like to highlight one aspect which is crucial for almost everything that we've seen today and something that sets Cognigy truly apart. For that, let's look at the two fundamental concepts of conversational experiences. On the left here is traditional flow building with intents and logic nodes. This is fully deterministic, and builders have complete control over every little aspect. On the right is the agentic approach. Here, the agent is the orchestrator in the center, autonomously managing its tools and actions. That's very flexible, it's fast to onboard, and provides excellent experiences. What's key is that none of these is per se good or bad. As an example, if you have highly standardized compliance-relevant processes, for example, reporting a medication side effect, a linear flow, as shown here on the left, will be the preferred approach to capture input. Outbound calls, as another extreme example, are rather unpredictable. An agentic approach will have a much higher success rate. So the beauty of Cognigy is, as all of this is part of the same Cognigy AI platform, you do not need to make fundamental choices. Instead, you can freely combine both approaches even within the same flow. You can start with an agentic experience and then transition into a flow mode, or the other way around, and users won't even notice it. So AI is much more than LLMs. And this is what we've referred to as composite AI, as it combines multiple approaches and can mix and match dynamically. And only with Cognigy, builders can tap into the power of LLMs, but at the same time have full unrestricted access to anything and can build virtually any experience they envision. And that is the secret ingredient that allows to build very advanced scenarios. So, for example, an AI agent sharing a web application, as shown earlier, or directly tapping into the conversation stream and manipulating it. With that in mind, I want to hand it back to Thijs for a final demo where he shows how Cognigy's Agentic AI can truly move the goalposts.
All right, now imagine the following scenario. We have the customer, Michael, reach out to an AI agent, in this case, Jamie. They communicate in English and Michael's asking about his order status. The first thing Jamie does is trigger an action that calls an API, and she gets back a status code that is not really helpful. So what she does instead, as a second approach, is find instructions on what to do. Jamie can trigger an offline AI agent that can spawn a browser and literally look in the knowledge base and read the instructions in text, just like a human would. And imagine this text says something along the lines of, hey, you need to call a warehouse in Germany for further instructions. Well, guess what? Jamie can actually do that. She can call she can spawn another AI agent that actually calls Mr. Brenner, who sits in the warehouse in Hamburg. And of course, because she can speak more than 100 languages, she can seamlessly switch to German, and you'll hear it's the same voice. And then Mr. Brenner can actually provide the final approval, and then the process is complete.
Hello. How can I assist you today with Cognigy Logistics?
Yeah, hey, this is Michael. I'm actually a little annoyed because it's been more than a week since I ordered, and I'm still waiting for my package.
I apologize for the inconvenience, Michael. To assist you further, could you please provide me with the order number? This will help me check the status of your package.
Yeah, sure. That's 53444325678.
Okay, I see that I need to check our knowledge base to find more details. Please give me a couple of seconds to figure this out. I will try to resolve your issue as soon as possible. Okay, thanks for your patience. So I am looking for further help to get this resolved. I will put you on hold for a couple of minutes while I try to get to the bottom of this.
So at this point, she calls another AI agent to start an outbound call and reach out to the warehouse in Hamburg. Ja, guten Abend, Herr Brenner hier aus Hamburg. Was kann ich für Sie tun?
Guten Tag, ich bin Jamie von der Cognigy Logistikzentrale. Bin ich mit dem Lager in Hamburg verbunden?
Ja, sind Sie tatsächlich. Worum geht's denn?
Ich benötige Ihre Unterstützung bezüglich einer Bestellung für den Kunden Michael McKenzie. Es handelt sich um die Auftragsnummer 53444356778. Könnten Sie mir bitte sagen, welches Problem mit dieser Bestellung vorliegt?
Können Sie den Nachnamen noch mal kurz buchstabieren, bitte?
Ja, natürlich. Der Nachname ist McKenzie, buchstabiert M-C-K-E-N-Z-I-E.
Okay, ja, ich habe schon gefunden. Moment noch. Ja, ich sehe, dass es einfach nur, es ist schon mehr als eine Woche. Ich habe das jetzt genehmigt und es müsste eigentlich am Montag schon da sein. Es tut mir wirklich leid, ich weiß nicht genau, warum das so entstanden ist.
Vielen Dank für Ihre Hilfe und die schnelle Klärung. Ich werde diese Information an den Kunden weitergeben. Ich wünsche Ihnen noch einen schönen Tag.
Ja, schönen Tag auch. Wiederhören. Tschüss.
Thank you for your patience, Michael. The issue has been resolved and your package is now on its way. You can expect it to arrive by Monday. We apologize for any inconvenience this delay may have caused. If you have any further questions or need additional assistance, please feel free to let me know.
Once again, thank you very much, Thijs. Now, one question that many of you will have is, when is all of this available? So we're right now in closed beta, and some people already have access to the new Agentic toolset. As we speak, pilots are being built, and some of them are even used customer-facing. Everybody will get access to the new features that we showed in this webinar in December 2024, so in about 4 weeks. We will make the functionality available on all Cognigy environments, and as mentioned earlier, everything will be fully compatible and can be combined with existing Cognigy AI agents. Now, after all the amazing demos and a full hour of content, we've seen a lot of great new features that make a big difference. But to wrap it up, I don't want to recap all the capabilities, but speak about Cognigy as a whole. There's a lot of noise and storytelling around AI agents, and I want to be clear about why build them with Cognigy. So number one, we fully focus on AI agents for the contact center. That's where our experience and expertise sits. So instead of a one-fits-all approach, we ensure that everything we build is optimized for customer service at scale. Products, integrations, and also partnerships. We make AI in the contact center a success story. Then there's our CX focus. We don't build AI agents just for the fun of it, but to deliver better experiences. And AI alone is not enough. We've seen that in the demo. Voice and chatbots need more than good answers and a pretty voice. There's multimodality, cross-channel communication, back-end integration, and so much more. We use our expertise and features to create experiences that are truly loved by everybody. And finally, all of this can only come to life when it's secure and scalable. We support thousands of concurrent conversations. We're certified and tested and vetted by many analyst firms. We take care that enterprises stay safe and compliant, whatever their CX and automation roadmap looks like. And all of this is only possible with Cognigy, and that makes us the number one trusted partner for AI in the contact center. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. If you're not yet a customer or partner, but you would like to be one, please contact us. And also subscribe to our channels to learn about the coming updates. Thanks again, and see you soon.